All right, call to order the February 28th, 2023 village board meeting at 6 o'clock. And we will do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the record, Josh Hecht is on the Zoom, I believe.
And Joel and John Farrell are too.
Okay.
And Andrea.
And Josh did message me and stated that he was working, so if he didn't respond, if we commented that he might be on the call, so just to move on without it. All right, we'll start off with public comment, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic for anything that is on the agenda. If you do want to speak, please go to the podium, state your name and your address. We have a podium this time.
I know, I love it, thanks guys. Okay, Chad Williamson, 219 Churchill Road. Okay. Hello, gentlemen. I want you to know I absolutely love the idea of having the village control of the purchase of the land. That and what would be built in the future, I think that is a great thing. However, I want to make sure we are paying fair market value and not rushing a decision based on a threat or scare tactic. Have you checked into the actual cost of an eminent domain if needed? Could you just purchase the land needed for the turn lane or the truck lane from the other potential buyer? Are there any other avenues that could be checked before you make such a high cost decision? I just want you to think about it. It's a high purchase, I get it, but I just don't think the proper channels were used here. I definitely didn't see it. I'm on the planning commission. I'm kind of not okay with that. I just want you to make sure we're making the right decision for everybody that lives here. Check out all your avenues. I look forward to hearing your response. Hopefully there won't be an issue with the internet and email and the Zoom. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else? Anyone online? Raise their hand. Hearing that, we'll close public comment. And next up, review the minutes from the January 17 regular meeting, January 24 special meeting, and February 15 work session meeting minutes.
Any pro motion to approve January 17th meeting minutes?
Dudley, second. I think we could do them all at
Altogether.
once.
I was gonna ask if you were gonna do them all together. 17th to 24th and
We can do all the other.
February.
Okay. Microphone motion to approve January 7th, Tuesday, January 24th, and February 15th meeting minutes.
You're 17.
January 7th and the 17th.
Dudley, second. Motion in favor, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, you're on the aye yet. I jumped the gun. Sorry, Josh. I'll remember that next time.
With the Zoom,
Yeah. All right. Next up, committee reports, Public Works.
This
Discussion. Oh, sorry, we should just. Was Chuck coming in?
No, he does have a conflict tonight, so
Okay, do you wanna?
I will be covering this point in the meeting.
Okay.
Ready for growing ones? Okay,
Okay,
growing.
we can do the growing wings, and then I normally he gives like an update first, so that's why. I
We
was
did
just
that at
gonna-
the work session.
Okay, so we'll just go into discussion possible approval, growing wing utility extension.
What is growing wing? Could someone explain that?
Growing Wings is a 24 unit, an independent living market rate facility for adults with cognitive disabilities. It'll be independent living, and that will be going in. If you're gonna stand at the fire department and look to your south, that area right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Not a halfway house, not a rehabilitation center, or thing like that. And keeping finalized and puts the limits in there, so it's, yeah.
Okay.
So we have a professional service agreement from MSA for the sewer and water utility extension. That will be scheduled to occur this year. And that's placed on the backside is the engineer's estimate for probable causes. Costs, excuse me, estimated construction, some total was around $221,000. Engineering contingency at $65,000. Again, those contingency numbers most likely go down. Those will never exceed that amount. It's just how much we have observation on site for the engineer, which we typically have a good handle on that. So that cost us come down. However, we do have quite a bit of work going on. So that's why that number's up there a little bit higher. And this is all TID financed work. So this is the TID 5 property. Kind of like this is our TID 3 property. Downtown, the Blight area, this is our interchange mix use. So we have a variety of different uses that can be put in that area.
What's the status of the developer agreement and purchase agreement on that?
They, their attorneys redrafted things and sent two agreements for review that I'm looking through right now.
Right, because I think they were saying that there was in the work session, they said it was gonna be forthcoming. So I don't know when that's gonna happen before we approve this money. Are we anywhere close enough to where we can agree upon, the developer aspect of it and the purchase price? So we know that it's for sure gonna be sold, or before we approve this, or?
Well, the board's already authorized, moving forward with this, and obviously the final agreement's gonna come back to the board. And so.
Well, I'm talking about,
Donnie, yeah, and Donnie, if you have a concern about this, it's not gonna go forward unless the developer goes through, and we reach an agreement, so. If you have a contingency on it, I suppose, contingent on final agreement with Growing Wings, that gives me no heartburn. And I guess it'd be, can MSA do the design work in a timely manner, and I assume I can.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is making sure that they can build this year. So that's why we wanted to get this in front of the board so they can start doing the engineering and the design.
well, yeah, because we talked about this last year already, back in late fall. They were talking about breaking ground last fall, and now we're not breaking ground yet. And it'd be nice to at least get the purchase, deals worked out so they could start that process.
Yeah, we got them the agreement last fall, and it took their attorneys a while to turn something around. It's been a while. I agree, Don.
Mhm. So this is all TID 5,
Correct.
and this money will be TID 5 too,
Correct.
on the engineering?
Correct.
So I'll make a motion to approve this professional service agreement contingent on successful purchase agreement. I think we were saying purchase agreement and development, signed development agreement.
Josh Hector, second.
Do we need to put anything as far as dollar value on there, just as a question?
In the amount indicated.
Do you want to amend to say in the amount indicated?
In the amount indicated. I believe it's 44,000 estimated here, but again, that's an estimate. I didn't know if you want to put that down or not.
Is it gonna be a not to exceed?
You can hold them to that.
Is it gonna be
Okay.
a not to exceed 44,000? Yeah.
You're comfortable to hold that and 40.
If we run into something, we can come back with an amended contract, but, I'll keep it at 44,000.
Sounds good.
Any other further comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 There you go. None opposed, or any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, discussion possible approval, non-metallic mining permit.
This was discussed at the work session as well. This is standard every annual thing, my understanding, right? And that nothing has changed on it, so I'll make a motion to approve the mining permit as presented.
Chris Morel, second. First and second on the table, any further comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
mining permit needed?
It's a county gravel permit that's been here for decades. And they just have annual renewal. It's the county take permits, so the county uses it for the gravel site.
Next up, finance, discussion possible approval, wellness initiative, fitness for duty.
Well, thank you. I'll talk to Joe.
Joel, would you like to take this?
Sure. I mean, this was talked about in more detail at the Finance and Personnel Committee level. But essentially, the Somerset Police Department is seeking the board's approval to implement policy number 132. It's a wellness program. Involves mental health counseling, after action debriefs, and a physical component. And like the physical component would include working out on duty. And there's some outlines in the packet of what we were thinking, including the model policy.
Yeah, I mean, from our discussion and what we're looking at, I think this is a great idea. I think there's a lot of things, these stresses that our law enforcement community go through and whatnot. I think, can we, John, please? I think it's a great idea for us to be able to help out in that area, to provide some opportunity for some physical fitness at the beginning or end of your shift. And to do things like, I think it's just something that we can easily handle. Impact us, we won't impact the calls or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, just to be clear, it wouldn't affect any type of coverage. We'd have to have shift minimums, and it wouldn't cost really the taxpayers any money.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I know this was something that was brought up when Todd and myself did a ride along with you guys. I'm glad to see it come before the board. Have my full support.
Might as well.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, Brandon Crone motion to approve the policy 1032.7 for the physical wellness program.
I'll second.
First, second on the table, any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, discussion possible approval, take home squad car alternative charging EOB at the PD.
So yeah, I'll take this one again. So a few trustees came and did a ride along with me. They asked, a valuable question, which was, what's it going to take to keep our employees here that we have and retain the talent that we have? And, we're in a competitive market in law enforcement. There's other agencies that pay more. They have other specialties to offer. And it's like, well, how do we stay relevant and competitive in this market? And it costs a lot of money to onboard a new employee.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there was a question. So this is a Chief Joel Trepchek is on the speaker right now, so I
couldn't
just.
see anybody's lips.
I just wanted to clarify so the audience understood. So sorry for
Sure.
interrupting. No.
No problem, but so at the end of the day, like to onboard a new employee, I mean, it's well over $100,000 from the time that we do a background. Well, we post the position, we do the backgrounds, we do the psychological, we do the medical, the drug screen. We're looking at sponsoring people through academies now, which is a whole 6-month process, the FTO process. So it's important, that we kind of understand like the realm of what's involved with retaining employees, because it's pretty valuable and there's a cost equation to this as well to keep our good employees. So I went around and I asked our employees, like, well, what do you guys think? And they came up with 3 main things that they'd like to see. The first one was an upgraded facility, because the current one's kind of inadequate. The second thing they want to see was a take-home squad program, which we currently don't offer. And the third thing was the wellness initiative, which include working out. So the take-home squad thing, I mean, if we look at agencies around St. Clair County that do offer it, we got the Sheriff's Office, Hudson PD, North Hudson PD, New Richmond PD, Glenwood City PD. And our policy, we have a policy as such where we could put reasonable limits. For example, someone that lives within 15 miles could theoretically have a take-home vehicle. The problem with this is we simply don't have enough vehicles to facilitate this across the board. So we currently have 2 employees who either have an electric vehicle and or are in the process of buying a vehicle, who are interested in opting out of having a take-home car that's village owned and oppose driving their personally owned vehicles to the PD. And we're asking for permission to plug in our cars while we're there. This was thoroughly discussed at the Finance and Personnel Committee level. It transitioned into, well, if the PD has this benefit, the rest of the village employees should also have this benefit. And I'm certainly not opposed to that. And that's kind of where it ended. And the Finance and Personnel Committee made a motion to recommend to the village board that this gets approved for the entire village of Somerset employees.
Any comments or?
So there's been, Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you arrange for a charger to be donated?
So yeah, I mean, that's also in the works. We had the first charger that we have for our squad car was donated. There is another charger that's pending that we could have donated to the PD or the village if we want to install a second one. And that certainly we could certainly facilitate that as well. The only other cost associated with installing a charger would be having it, hardwired. And I'm fairly confident we could get that donated as well.
Yeah, I think BK talked to someone. I have an electrician friend too who's offered to help with that as well.
I assume they have to be fully licensed.
Yeah.
So sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the initial discussion was just that they could plug into a 110 outlet versus having so it'd be a slower charge rate
Here's the
than,
problem.
because they're,
Felicia has a car, right? If she did, not saying you do. But if Felicia had one, Andrea had one, we have one station, a level 1 is gonna do 1 car a little bit. We have a level 2, we could perhaps both get in there depending on what the charge is, so. There's the cost to put in a level 1 versus a level 2. The actual, just the installation is nothing. No different.
Energy costs the same for charging them?
Energy is actually cheaper through higher voltage than it is through 110. Yeah, so if we have a 220 or a 208 service out there, it's gonna be less dollars to the village.
Originally, we talked, at the finance about that is it would cost about averaging, an employee going in, 4 cents, electricity at 4 cents a mile. And it would be about 80 cents, for the commute or an electronic charge for the day. So 80 cents per car. So if there's a cost savings to that, obviously, I'd be interested in hearing about that too.
And I think what we had discussed before was even the 80 cents per employee per day, that the cost is pretty minuscule for the retention of.
Sure.
Of our officers and other employees, but. I mean, I
It's
didn't,
not
have-
limited to. It's.
Right. Yeah, everyone that's
So
an employee.
it'd be the police department and the village employees,
Right.
Correct.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
village employees.
So
So if we were to approve this motion, would we move forward with obtaining the second level charger, or how does that work?
That could be discussed down the road, right?
Yeah, because right now, and my understanding is all they would have to do right now is they could just plug in, we just give them permission to plug in, and then if we do an upgrade as a charger thing, we can do that. from a
That's definitely,
donation
yeah.
standpoint. Well, someone to donate it or whatever, that could happen.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about installing something new. I think you want that on a new agenda item.
Mhm. So I think it's a good idea that we offer this kind of a benefit to all of the village employees. Good for retainage and everything, even if they start moving into this more of this electronic realm. And the cost is, as we had discussed in finance, was actually very minimal for that kind of a benefit. If they so choose to buy into electronic vehicles, that would be a good benefit for them. So I'll make a motion to approve the policy change to allow village employees to charge their personally owned vehicles while they're at work.
only second,
First and second on the table, any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, unfinished business, third-party legal opinion on trustee residency. Which we
No
have
opinion in hand.
No opinion yet.
just a question on that. Are we going to see something from them? Because originally we had an email that thought it would be the end of February.
Yeah,
And now we're the end of March, I'm sorry, end of January it was, and now we're the end of February. Is that something we're gonna see?
I hope so. I mean, so when I reach out to the league, they've had multiple, they call amicus briefs, so like support briefs on other issues before courts that have taken precedent. So, we've asked, the village has been more than patient. No, the league said they'll do it, they're gonna do it. It's just,
Hope for the next one.
Well,
again,
it's gonna be over by then.
I was gonna say, put it on the March agenda, we have it. If not, well,
Sure.
I'm not writing the opinion, so I don't get to dictate the time.
All right, next up is discussion possible approval, social media policy.
Yeah, so I had originally drafted this, but then, Anders kind of took some of my initial intent. And he did a lot better job with it, I thought, and then added, a little more leeway in some of the verbiage. So I was happy with the edited version he provided.
So with the changes on this, we'd have to vote in order to approve comments.
No, well, no, right now,
That's what I,
right now, you've already given the okay for the
right.
comments to be open.
Approving this, it says comments on YouTube page shall not be turned on and authorized unless village board votes. So are we saying because we already voted that
Yeah.
that's a done deal?
Yeah.
So what would be the reason for having that language in there then?
In the event, you know, the board wants to default and say, no, we're gonna go with no comments, then that's the default language, but you already have the vote going. And as you see, the next paragraph says if they are authorized, you know, they'll need to comply with the First Amendment and applicable case law or statutes. And that you do reserve the right in the future to turn off comments on the YouTube page. Or really, you know, the concern that I have is you don't want to be in the moderation business. Quite frankly, it's either no comments or basically almost every comment
Yeah,
is allowed. And
be
so
honest.
if there's gonna be deletion of comments, it needs to go to the full. The full village board, and I'd recommend you discuss that with the village attorney before you.
Yeah.
Both one way or the other.
so far, I think we've got like 6 comments and they've been like, watch out for Tammy and stuff like that. As opposed to anything.
And again, I only bring this up because, I'm involved in litigation where I believe, someone discriminated against my client in the comment section.
Right.
So,
Yeah. The
so
question,
you just, yeah, gotta be careful.
I think most of the, and I could be wrong, but I think there's probably more comments surrounding the YouTube stuff that's put on the local Facebook pages than there is on the actual YouTube channels themselves, but.
So I stay on the YouTube page. That's why I stay on the YouTube page.
so my only question on this is that because we've already approved it, do we have to go back and approve it? If we approve this policy, do we have to then reapprove the comments allowed portion of it, or is that trump this?
You already approved that.
Okay.
So you don't need to.
So the only way we have to reconsider anything is if we were gonna change the comment policy,
And just say no
right?
comments, yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be open until somebody says it's not.
And the only time another vote would come up is if someone else needs to take over the YouTube page, because at this point, I'm kind of just running it. But if I'm deemed unfit to serve, then
If the village board trustee or staff of delegated under this policy no longer office or employed by the village unable, was there going to be a second one that we talked about that?
yeah, village employee, village staff, village board trustee and the village staff. I would give it, no one else really wants to run it except me at this point, so.
So there's nothing in this policy saying that there should be really 2 people?
I think it says it right there, trustee,
It says if village trustee or staff is delegated responsibilities, this policy is no longer in office. Under this policy is no longer in office.
So a couple parts, posting videos to the village's YouTube page will be delegated by the village board, 1 member of the village board and or 1 member of the village. Doesn't require both, that's in the 4th paragraph down.
Got it.
And then it just simply says that staff member or village board member doesn't want to do it, can't do it, isn't around, whatever, the board should assign someone else to take on those responsibilities.
yeah, because right now, when the way it works is that Andrea or Amy send me the Zoom the next day, and then I upload it.
John, you have a question?
You skip 5A.
That we didn't have any update on,
Oh,
there's nothing there.
That's all I had for the good policy. Thank you, Anders.
Thanks for doing the initial draft, and
Good to crack at it.
no, it was a really good start. and
Yeah.
Just had to fine tune a couple things.
I'm just finishing reading through that.
Doug Lottie, I'll make a motion to approve the social media policy.
Brandon Crone seconds.
First and second on the table, any other further comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All in favor? Motion carries. Next up, new business discussion, possible approval tax deeded village property.
So this is property. They're outlots for easements and one is a road. And the county wanted us, we've been dealing with them for quite a while, but they wanted us to purchase them. And we refused to because there's no, you can't build on it, there's nothing you can do with it. So they're willing to just quick claim it over to us with us just having to do the $30 fee that is. So, but I just wanted to make sure
There's
that.
drainage pond there,
Is
just, so we're gonna be responsible for, I'm guessing we're already responsible for dredging in and everything else, or was the county responsible for it?
And that's a different type of pond. So
Okay.
that doesn't hold.
That's like a
It
natural
doesn't
one.
hold good water,
Can we do anything? Doesn't hold any water,
does not.
just a swamp.
I thought there was a person that had trouble with
By
the tree on
definition, a
it.
swamp holds water.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, so it doesn't hold water. you
It
said.
infiltrates.
Can't hold water.
It works. They'll have water in there for a day or something.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's right here. Here. Spot right here. Well, that's one of them. The other one is Raymond Street, is the street. It's actually Raymond Street,
Yeah.
your street, that's the other one.
So.
Can we do anything with that property? Sorry, Captain, I just want one more question on that. Can we do anything with that property? It's just nothing, no trails there, no nothing. It's just gonna be
We have
a mosquito, a bench.
A bench?
That's nice.
Watch the water evaporate.
So it is a swamp.
There's a swamp. Mosquito birthing ground.
So they just want to quit claim us, the village, the property, so that they are no longer.
It should have been done that way
Years ago.
in the nineties. It should have been quick claim deeded over to the village. Per the developers agreement. However, they did things a little differently back then. Same thing with Raymond Street. It should have been dedicated to the public. It wasn't. So essentially it was Scott Sano's property.
Is that Shane's cousin? Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about up in that association development there.
Right.
So that never got turned over to the.
So this is property that.
They've been
they're
following
just
it
gonna
all the
quick
time,
claim
you know,
back.
since I've been there anyway, so,
Yeah,
you know,
well, who else is gonna plow?
Right.
Coming right over.
I did have a conversation with the association, and feel it would have bankrupt them if they had to do the maintenance, so. Again, it was always intended to be dedicated to the public. not-
and
not private access.
I thought it was public, I honestly did.
Now, with restrictive rights, you know, all those years, I don't know, 92, I think was the first condo, maybe it was built. I don't know, quite a while ago.
So I just need an approval from you guys in order to let them know that we could
Right.
have.
So this
them-
basically quit claims over to the village so that if you in fact can perform the maintenance and do everything you need to do on those,
It
right?
just cleans it up.
For 30
It just
bucks.
cleans up all the, yeah.
So move. Allow the quit claim deeds of the three parcels in fact here. From CSD Development and Charles and Scott Zano to be quit claimed over to the village.
So essentially, just to clarify, we're authorizing the 30 bucks too.
60 bucks. Is
Yeah.
60 bucks, sorry, I bet it.
that motion done?
Yeah.
Probably second.
First and second, any other comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? None, motion carries. Next up, discussion possible approval ordinance amendment A 653 for 13-1-132 fences.
So I put this on there. Within our ordinances. Under the fencing, it has an amount of $25. And I would like to have the change be done, so it just says C fee schedule, so every time it changes, we don't have to do an ordinance change.
Do they
And we
change?
have a fee schedule that we approved. So,
Also, it's just a table, so you'd rather refer to the table than have to.
For the building permits
entire
fees, yeah.
document.
Was it based on the size of the, and everything like that, right?
Well, and that's one of the
Yeah.
criteria.
So this basically fits for what we've already done. We've established a fee schedule but this would conflict with it being at $25, right?
Right,
Updating the ordinance to match what we're already looking to do.
so every time it increases, we'd have to do an ordinance update, but this way we would just. Not have to do that. There's a lot more we should do, there's other ones that we should eventually end up doing too.
Well, has anybody already got a permit and so put up a fence and only paid, didn't pay the $25, gonna come back after?
No, I have to look at that, I can't.
I think
do
it's
that.
just ease for if the table updates, they don't have to go out and
Right.
update every single.
Right, well, I just don't want somebody coming back.
Well, we
saying,
have a fee schedule too, so I mean, you can go by the fee schedule, but. This way, it'll be cleaner and we don't have to keep making those changes.
So the fee schedule, if it changes, it changes. The documentation doesn't have to change every time the fee schedule changes, even though documentation is still gonna reference said fee schedule.
Yes.
Perfect.
Doug Lottie, I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance amendment A-653 for 13-1-142 fences.
Grantstrom second.
First and second on the table, any further comments or discussion?
One question, Anders, is anybody can come back and say, well, I paid, $450 for a fee, I'm just pulling a number out, $450 for the permit for a fence and the ordinance said 25, so I want $425 back.
Anyone can ask for anything, and I've seen a lot asked for in this village.
Are we
over the
gonna,
years.
do we have a legal
After
stance?
the fact,
Do we have a legal stance to refund them that money then pursuant to the
We don't
ordinance?
need.
Okay, that's all I had for you.
All right, so then the next one is,
Oh, hang on.
We got it.
oh,
And, okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, none, motion carries. Next up, discussion possible approval Badger book purchase.
so I was hoping to purchase 2 Badger books. Been a while since I looked at this, for the election, it's for the election, so what it is, it's, when people come in and do the poll book. It's the same thing, but it's computerized, like, but it's not connected to the internet. So I get the USB from Wisvote, from the poll book, it gets pulled down into that, I put that in there, so then we only have to have 1 poll book person instead of 2. Unless it's busy, then we can use the 2, and then if we use one of them up at the registration. It automatically puts it into the other system, it's just, everyone's going with that, and I've been putting money away for at least the last couple of years for it.
How much is it?
For 2 of them at $6,484, and I have like $8,000 in there for it. So we have the money.
Is it a one-time expense and after that we never have to pay again? Or is there an ongoing annual fee?
Well, with even our Wisvote software, we pay a license fee every year.
So is
That I
a-
don't know, I'd have to check on that,
But that's
but
budgeted though already. Felicia.
yes, this is all budgeted, yep.
Is that,
And everyone I've talked to said it's just,
is it $6,400 for 2 every year?
no,
It's a one-time cost.
it's a one-time cost,
And we don't have to pay again,
no,
ever.
right. So I'm just trying to see here,
But you have the money set aside, you said?
Yeah. Yep. And I was hoping to get it for April, but I can't, so it's gonna have to go on next year. I mean, we could purchase it this year. But they had to have training on it. There is training that's they require, so. we'll have to
But
do
you'd
that.
have it effective for November. Anyway, so. It'd be this year elections, just not the April.
I will say as a poll.
We only have one more election this year, and that's April, and that's it.
We don't have
Well,
one.
it gives you an
November this
opportunity
year.
to train though for the spring, right?
Right.
As a poll worker, and I did work the book this year, it would be a lot easier than having to constantly flip back and forth through pages and then have to count them, and then we were here till, we were here half hour, 45 minutes after the polls closed, just making sure the book was right.
But another nice thing about that is it walks you through every step that you're supposed to do for that
So we don't have
person.
to come
and it-
back down and sign the book.
Right, but but I mean, during it, each person, it'll ask a question from that person, and then you go into that, and then it'll say what the next step is.
It does the
So you
voter
can't
reg-
make a mistake,
It does the first time registration too.
yeah,
Oh,
and if they
Yeah.
register, it pushes a number, it's, yeah.
that would be so much easier. That voter registration same day is a pain. It's a pain, but
So is it 6484 with all their fees and everything else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would do, I mean, we have 8,000 saved up for, like I said, and if we decide later on down the road where, oh my God, we could really use another one. You know, we have that opportunity, but
yeah, I had a question too. It looks like I only got paid $10 for the election. Oh, is that right?
You're in the wrong section.
Sorry. wrong section.
Seriously.
Sorry.
All right. Make a motion to approve the Badger book purchase and not to exceed $8,000 since that's what you got.
Second.
you seconded it.
There you go.
Donnie.
Donnie.
you so much.
First, second on the table, further comments, questions,
It's
Here-
3.
hearing none,
2 or 3.
all in favor, say aye.
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 None opposed, motion carries.
More training,
All right.
Alicia. More training.
It's really.
Is there a chance we could go up there and sewer water bills and approve them before we go into closed section? I'm sure nobody's gonna be around here after the fact,
Why is it gonna take a long time?
you know?
The sewer and water bill?
No.
Do you see our closed session?
Um,
Huge.
3 items.
Well, I read about it on Facebook today.
Yeah, you did.
About the sewer and water bill?
Anyway, okay, we can do that. Make a motion to move the village water and sewer bills up in front of Cole's section.
Second.
We got that one.
You can have it.
Sorry.
You can have it.
Any comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Josh might be up. Any opposed? Motion carries.
What was it?
Oh, I had a question on the bills, but I looked at it, it looks right. I thought I was only getting paid $10. for
100.
My
Oh.
election inspection. No, it's 85.
Oh, okay.
It's 85.
You got paid $85.
Yeah, I put the time in. I was here for, how long was I here, Felicia?
Half an hour.
I was here for like 9 hours. Helped pull up all the stuff.
I have a question. What happened with the plow? We have $10,000 charge at Dave's Service Center.
Yeah,
Was it wrecked or is that just getting it installed?
that was the new plow we purchased for the pickup.
Oh, that's finally the bill finally come through on that?
Yep.
Oh, so we got it finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's been out driving around and I saw him out there on the snow day. I even saw Jim in it one day too.
The Caterpillar loader lease, how long are we gonna have that, or we keep that, all the time?
No, that ends. I look it up and look it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's 24,000, is that for the year, or is that,
That's our annual payment.
that's the annual?
Yeah.
So then we're good for this year? Or was that last year?
Yep, that's it. Okay, it might have been last year. No, I think it's this year though. I think we pay the beginning of the year.
And then that's gonna end? Cause it wasn't that for the work down,
That's for the payloader itself.
oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So what we hope to do now is start trading things in and not have to take off. Phones for equipment.
For that Hawkins Incorporated, is that we don't buy any polymers, is that just the
It's alum and chlorine,
chlorine,
water,
the water?
alum, sewer.
HydroCorp, they came over to my place and inspected. Are they charging per house or is that a fixed amount per month?
It's a fixed amount depending on our customer base, so
Okay,
There's a probably a breakdown.
okay. So eventually that's gonna end too, or when they, or are they gonna come back through again?
Then we should be good for 10 years.
Okay.
Are we happy with the new IT services? No, it's kind of, I don't really see a bill on here.
We've always
specifically,
had
but-
the same people.
But did we just get a new, we got a
We got
con,
better service from them,
yeah,
that we're getting stuff now with emails.
Well, that's what that Barracuda.
Yeah.
been better.
I haven't noticed, I didn't have any problems before. So.
That's weird. This is just more secure.
I feel safe.
Good.
No interruption.
So Claudia, I'll make a motion to approve the village water and sewer bills in the amount of $1,734,590.94.
I'll do second.
Any other comments or questions on the table? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. One last thing I want to say before we go to closed session is, if some don't know, we did change our village email addresses over, so do look on the website for those, if anyone had them, anyone that might listen or watch later. If you had an old, ville.somerset.us address that is no longer valid starting tomorrow. Everything else will be, I'm sorry, I don't remember what they exactly are. They
Village of Somerset.us.
Village of Somerset.us.
So we got them, good. Is
Yes. Yep, so.
there any notice out on that? Going up on the web?
I think that our contact information should be
Yeah.
updated on there.
Contact information should be done.
And please do email us if you
Yeah.
have anything you need or feedback, anything.
Well, I just want to make sure, because it's really odd for me to not get any emails today.
Come down to the.
All right, so with that, next up is closed session, convene the closed session, as per a lot of stuff, do I have to go through the whole thing?
Make a motion to go in closed session as noticed on the agenda.
I'll do second.
Doug Lottie will make a motion to go into closed session as noticed on the agenda.
I'll do second.
Okay, this is a roll call,
Yes.
and Brandon Crone,
Here,
or
aye. Aye.
John Kern,
I,
Dave,
Aye.
Chris Moreno, Doug Lottie, aye. Josh, actually for this one, I'm assuming you're gonna,
You've got to have his camera on, otherwise you can't be on. Can you have his camera on?
He had it on before.
Josh, do you have your camera on, or do you wanna, step out, or?
I agree to go to closed session and I will turn on my camera once we get to closed session.
Okay,
So
all in favor?
I'm trying to get everybody out of here right now.
Closed session at 6:48 PM.
Okay, so just wait, I have to,
You guys in good hands now, do a good job.
Absolutely.
We try.
thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks a lot for coming. We appreciate it.
See you.
Any decisions from the closed session?
If there is any decisions made, it'll be in the minutes.
Okay.
And it'll be on the video.
It'll be made. If there's
Yes.
any.
Any decision will be made and announced
Any
after
votes?
we get out of closed session.
Any vote would be an open session.
Why?
Yeah,
Right.
they're probably not coming back to you.
Nope.
I don't think.
No, I'll have, so I'll post it on YouTube and then you can watch it, like, fast forward.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think we're just as much as we can handle for one night.
Feel free to reach out to the clerk tomorrow, too, or find out if you're curious about what transpired.
Okay, good job on you guys.
Thanks for coming. We love that.
Have a wonderful evening.
Well, they say if you want to have any effect on what's going on in the United States, you need to start at the grass root level.
That's
Right.
right.
As
That's
low as it gets,
Glad you guys are
right
here.
above the drain. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do the land first, because I don't have any business being here for the side letter nor do I with the hideaway portion of it.
Yeah, we can do the,
So I'm just trying to get, there's a lot of people in here, so I'm so.
or,
Move on to it.
now. Is there we We stopped recording already.
I just wait.
Well, do that.
Did I take Andrew off by accident?
Who's back there?
Yeah, buddy.
I wonder if it's like.
Oh, one of the cops
Sorry.
So,
and in charge.
yeah, Larry.
Everyone. And
Some Google Pixel 6a just is sitting there, it just says joining, so I would just.
okay. All right, so we're coming out of closed session. As part of that, like this Doug Lottie make a motion to, make a motion to move forward or to approve the agreement, the side letter agreement to the collective bargaining agreement, police officer work schedule.
Blanker in second.
First and second on the table. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. In regards to the land purchase agreement with Von Pettit Brothers, Doug Lottie make a motion to move forward with the TID 3 amendment for funding. With approval on the final agreement to be drafted and by Anders and agreed upon by the village board and the Von Pettit Brothers.
Only comment on that was that, that I have is that will come to no, cost to taxpayers. So by redistricting that into the
So
TID.
need a
Basically,
second.
nobody's done, yeah.
a second.
Yeah, second, I'll totally second. Now you can.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we noted that redistricting of TID 3 will make it so we don't spend any of the taxpayer dollars on that. Would be part of the tax, incremental district spending.
Okay. Any other comments or discussion?
I just want to make sure too that it's understood, the land purchase is contingent upon it going into that TID 3, correct?
Yes. That's
Yes.
what yeah.
Sorry, I'm repeating it, my bad.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions or anything? I don't know if you're,
I agreed with that.
okay, sorry, I didn't hear my bad. So that was all in favor, carries. In regards to the land purchase agreement with Capstone, that has been, no further action as of now. That's been tabled till a further meeting, future meeting, I should say.
Same with Apple River Campground.
No, correct, and the same with the land purchase agreement with Apple River Campground, it will be tabled to future meeting. Next item was, the Hideaway IRB unpaid fees. Doug Lottie make a motion to authorize collection enforcement. By the village attorney.
Brandon Crone second.
First and second on the table, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And the last is the zoning enforcement action. No action will be taken at this time. All right, seeing that, I will make Doug Lottie make a
Were we
motion.
we weren't going to do anything with regards to, getting the property appraised on the TID 3, or we're gonna table that.
And Doug Lottie, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll do second.
Any comments, discussion?
You can't have comments and discussion.
I know. No, I did.
It's again, it's Robert's Rules of Order.
My bad.
It's precedent.
Why would he even have?
All right, so then, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The only thing,
We are adjourned at 8:36 p.m.
the only thing the president can do is say, we don't have unfinished business, and I won't entertain that, in a motion at the time, but once he entertains the motion, it's been seconded.